This is a 1930 Model A Ford chassis, rolling chassis, if you will, in street rod mode. It's the other half of the Model A sedan project that started this video series off. To begin with, it is a genuine, authentic Model A Ford chassis. I'll start out over here with the VIN number, which is stamped into the frame. I have a California pink slip with that number stamped on it. And so it's kind of authentic from that standpoint. The frame has been boxed. That is, the steel plates are welded in to what was originally a C plate. It's like an 1/8 inch or 12 gauge, I think, plates. The chassis, or the bare frame, was taken up to Nevada Frame here in Carson City, and the owner, a fellow named Tom Bunch, now shuffled off this mortal coil, put this in his frame jig, welded up the frame, the boxing plates, and this chassis engineering K member you see right here. It is a proper K. Anyway, welded that whole assembly together to have a good rigid frame. The bottom of it is set for this Chevrolet transmission, 700R4 turbo hydro, I think, and then a set of front supports for the engine up there. Just by way of casual information, this is a 1985 305 5-liter Chevrolet engine, GM engine if you prefer. Mounted, it's worn. If I recall, it was smoking. I bought the car and I didn't care about the motor, cared about the transmission and some of the other parts. So anyway, it's kind of a placeholder motor, but it could be used if you were in a hurry to get something, up and running, kind of thing. It was a good serviceable motor. I forget how many miles are on it. Anyway, it's in place, mounted. It could be substituted for something else. Maybe of interest, these are old-style Chevy ram horn exhaust manifolds. Makes a nice-looking package. Carburetor's original. The distributor is a more, it's a coil and points distributor. I think points, well, anyway, I took the HEI system off of it so that I could, for the Model A, I wanted to keep the frame, sorry, the firewall as clear as possible. And I don't know whether this is clear or not, but it is what it is. I'll probably find out later. This is where the, what does that say? Oh, okay. Cowl and the firewall mount, so it's kind of across here. And it sticks out. It might need to be reversed or a recessed one put in there. I'm not positive of that. Anyway, so on to the frame. Let's keep going here. Frame, it's got a 4-link coil-over rear suspension. I set it up. My son did the welding. He's a certified welder and heavy equipment mechanic. Owns his own business now. Pretty cool. Anyway, these need a little more work, but they're serviceable and they function. The rear end is a 8-inch Ford rear end. I think it's got 278 axle ratios in it right now. I have another pumpkin, or center section if you like, with 340s in it. So they can be substituted back and forth, or one time, whatever model of street rodding you would care to do. Personally, I was more interested in highway performance and maybe traveling with the thing. So I didn't particularly pay any attention to the horsepower, to the lower ratios, higher numerically, but lower from a racing standpoint. Anyway, so you've got a Ford rear end, and I have a Ford torque tube, or dry shaft end, and then a front Chevrolet transmission, and I have a Chevy out of the original Chevy motor to go in the back. You have to cut them off to length, get them welded, balanced, and trued up, and then you're golden. So let's see, anything else? Yeah, well, you may notice that the 4-link adjusters or bars are adjustable, and so that'll change the angle of the torque tube angle, I guess is what it is. I forget what that's supposed to be, but it is adjustable. So, has a brake, nice under floorboard vacuum brake. See that it's not bolted in there, but it has all the stuff through it that can go through, and a brake pedal that would rest on the floorboard, of course, or go through the floorboard. I think that'll work. Anything else? Well, one of the most important things for prospective owners is that the front suspension is from a Chevrolet Corvair. Not too popular a conversion, but a successful one. In this case, I bought this whole front end off of a fellow who was going to, I believe, Mustang 2, and he took it out of his Model A Roadster. Now, you can tell this is not a stock part. This plate with the little 2 angles down here, this is welded onto the Chevrolet swing arm, no, it's not, onto the cross member, and it bolts or is welded to the Model A frame. This is definitely a part for the conversion part, not a stock Chevy part. So this thing is designed and was running successfully on a Model A, so it would work fine. It's currently, well, a Flaming River rack and pinion, steering assembly is positioned under the, attached to the Corvair swing arm, or frame member, cross member, if you will, and it's tacked in. I don't think it's permanently welded in. It was not used. I believe he might have had a Vega steering thing, and he decided to put the other one in. Then he said, "Oh, the hell with it," and he went with the Mustang 2 conversion. But everything is hooked up. The 2 wheels turn together. I don't know if I'll be able to show this or not, but when I push one, kind of close. Anyway, they're linked together, and this thing could be welded up. Making adjustments for the angle of the shaft coming down from the steering column and things like that. Okay. Or, since I did not cut the Model A cross member out, this whole rig could be jacked up. This Chevrolet independent front suspension can be rolled out of the way, and you could install a standard buggy style dropped axle, or the Mustang 2 conversion if you prefer. So nothing has been changed, and so you have 3 ways to go as it's sitting, with a straight axle and with the Mustang 2. So pretty flexible situation. Gives you more options than I think buying one that's further along the line would give you. And so next I want to show you some of the stuff that comes with it that is not bolted onto it.